Bill Belichick obviously got hired at University of North Carolina. Honestly, awesome for North Carolina. His dad played there. There's some like history there. During his press conference, he pulled out like an old hoodie. But something that I texted you about, and you seem to like not really catch up on or see anything about it, was the narrative that Bill Belichick is just completely inept, and this isn't going to work out well, and this, that, and the third, whatever. That made absolutely no sense to me in any way, shape, or form. The first thing is the narrative that he is like some old school guy and like has not been able to like evolve with the game. Bill Belichick's defenses, even up to his last year coaching, have always been top tier, and his way that he's been able to evolve defenses over the entire course of his tenure as a head coach for the New England Patriots has been extremely impressive, and there's really no argument there. He's always been an elite defensive coach. The next thing was his inability to be able to look at talent and get them to commit to the program. For 20 years, Bill Belichick has been a general manager and a head coach for the New England Patriots and has dealt with so many different personalities, so many contracts, keeping guys underpaid during the Tom Brady era and continued to be able to keep those teams together and be dominant. Why would he not be able to bring all of this and more to a college football program and be successful? And the hate on it made absolutely no sense to me. And a lot of the reasonings of why like a Nick Saban wanted to leave college football are reasons why Bill Belichick wanted to come into college football. And everybody's looking at this as a opportunity to kind of like be like, oh, like Bill Belichick could get an NFL head coaching job. Me and you laid out some of the jobs that were going to be available. One, they're not even a guarantee that he would get those jobs or he like would want them at that point. He's later on in his career. He probably wants to do what he wants to do. This gives him an opportunity. He wanted to go to North Carolina to coach football, and he wanted to be involved in the college football game. So I know I just said a lot, so go ahead and say whatever you need to say. But the Bill Belichick hate makes no sense. Him not being able to get recruits to UNC, he has a 24-year-old girlfriend. Like, I'm not here to make like the girlfriend jokes because I kind of think that they're like a little corny and they're like all over social media, but he's clearly in touch. Like people just act like he's like a complete asshole who like has like no people skills. Like Bill Belichick, the greatest head coach of all time. Like
I think if anything, since he retired from the NFL and has like gone more into the media side of things, that like I think I like him better. I think I've liked the Bill Belichick post Patriots coach that better than what he was when he was there. From a personality perspective, when he was the coach of New England, everything was very short, simple, and he kept it very close and button up, which I understand that as a head coach. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. I don't fault you for that. But seeing him like start to like expand more and like see more of his personality, like I like Bill Belichick in the media, and I thought that he was like a really enjoyable guy to listen to, like talk about college and the NFL and like all this stuff. Like I thought it was great. I don't understand. I didn't see any of the hate for him like to sign as the head coach of North Carolina. I will say from like a recruiting standpoint, I can't imagine how difficult it would be if Bill Belichick is like at your house eating dinner with you and your mom with your family, and he's like, "Yeah, I want you to come to North Carolina." Like, how are you supposed to say no to that guy?
One argument that I was heard made is like any kid who he's recruiting right now to go to UNC is like aged out of like ever seeing like a New England Patriots like football team be good. which is true. But also at the same time, like, what does that have anything to like do? Like, if you are a high school football player, if you play football for the rest of time, you will be very well versed with the New England Patriots, Tom Brady, and Bill Belichick. If you're not, then you do not play football because they're like they are like the forever standard of like football,
Two of the best.
probably forever, honestly. Like until somebody takes that over. I know that me and you talk about it all the time, like the Mahomes, Andy Reid situation. Well, they've been doing it for 5 years. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick did it for 20. So they have a certain standard that will be forever ingrained in the game of football. And to think that like kids, even if they're 18 years old and never watched like a full Patriots season, doesn't mean they have no clue who these guys are. So, I mean, I just thought that was like a ridiculous thing to say.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll have like the couple kids that'll be like, "Oh no, like I didn't watch football growing up," because they try to be too cool. Like when
Yeah.
the one thing that actually pissed me off was when Carson Beck was like, "Hey, I can't watch football. I
Yeah.
don't like it. It doesn't interest me. I get too nervous." I'm like, dude, I'm watching that. I'm like, all right,
Red
well, I don't
flag.
want you on my team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Red
want you on my
flag.
team.
Yeah.
Why
Red
would you?
flag.
Why would you? Besides the point, I don't want to get too fired up about that. But yeah, I, those two guys are cemented in NFL history as two of the greatest to ever be a part of the game. So like you'll know who he is. And
100%.
the difficulty of if a guy like that, listen, I think that NIL is going to the NIL that North Carolina is going to get is going to help too in combination of having one of the greatest NFL head coaches of all time. Because now you still can go play for a good college coach, but the money aspect of it is going to play a role. If you're a high school kid and you look at it and you go, okay, I'm getting a decent amount of NIL. I get to go play at North Carolina, who one really nice campus, really good academics, really good school in general, such sick gear, um, good sports elsewhere. Your head coach is one of the best in NFL history, and he can show you the pathway of getting to the NFL. He can teach you what it's like to be an NFL player. Like that sells itself. So I don't
That is
understand
something
why
that
any.
that's something that's severely under talked about. I don't know why I can't talk today, but like undervalued is like being able to have a program that can produce NFL talent is like extremely important. Like an example that I think of is like Mark Whipple at UMass. Like Mark Whipple at UMass, like people were like, like why would I want to go to UMass? Well, like he put out multiple prospects at wide receiver, Tajay Sharp, Andy Isabella was a second round pick. He got drafted over DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
Like there is so many players that went through that UMass system. O lineman Jack Driscoll, Larnell Cole, who like have gone and played in the NFL. If you have a program who can take talent and make them NFL talent, who they weren't highly recruited or going to a big SEC school, and being able to go and do that, and UNC is a school that on a good year can win a decent amount of games. So it's not even like I can't even compare it to like what Dion did at Colorado because they were just such a dumpster fire. Like Bill Belichick is going to a school that already has a pretty decent infrastructure. So I'm excited to see him add to that and see what happens. I don't think he wins a national championship year 1 or 2, but I definitely think that they're going to be a school to reckon with.
I think in 5 years, North Carolina might be the best team in the ACC.
Yeah, I don't think that's outrageous to say.
No, and I think what you also mentioned about how it's not like North Carolina was just a shit show coming into this. Like, if anything, they've been better recently. Like they've
Yeah.
had they put a couple quarterbacks in the NFL. Mitch Trubisky, Sam Howell, he was in the NFL.
Drake
They put it
May.
a couple Drake May. Like they have,
Yeah.
yeah, they've had a couple decent quarterbacks make it to the NFL. Drake May better, more than decent, but they've had some wide receivers play in the NFL recently. They've had some running backs play in the NFL recently. Like, I don't know about the defensive side of the football, but like that could be where Bill Belichick comes in, like of bolstering up that defense. Like if you're already getting decent guys to like take a look at you on the offensive side of the football, you could change things relatively quickly. And it's not like the ACC is amazing. Like Clemson's been the head of the ACC for since I can remember last, probably since like
forever.
2014.
It's coming up on 10 years. Yeah, it's coming up on 10
probably
years.
since like 2014 when and whatnot. So there's not really like another team that's like right up there. It's people have been waiting for Miami to take that step, and they took another step in the right direction this season, but they couldn't play defense to save their lives. But it's not like they're going out there and killing it every week. So I think North Carolina, if he does, the one thing that was really interesting to me is the buyout situation with this contract. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
I don't really think it's going to mean anything, but it's still interesting to me that they put that in there.
I think that Bill, if an opportunity in the NFL does present itself, I think Bill would want a way out.
I agree.
If the perfect opportunity shows up in the NFL for Bill Belichick to come back into, I think he would want to take it. So I think that's where that comes from.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's exactly where it comes from. Otherwise, I don't think they would have had it in there in the contract, which is wild because I don't think I've ever seen or heard of something like that at the college level, at least. But nevertheless, like until then, you're North Carolina, you're all systems go. Like you got to figure out your classes for next year, like your recruiting classes, like who you're bringing in from the transfer portal and the whole 9 yards. But I think the one thing that I would like to see is North Carolina. Honestly, it would be really cool if like North Carolina, for the sake of college football, like ended up being almost like the Oregon of the East Coast.
Yeah.
Like Oregon has Phil Knight to just funnel money into them. Like it'd be sick if Michael Jordan locked in and didn't have a gambling addiction and gave North Carolina like a bunch of money.
Well, that's not going to happen, so don't worry.
I know.
White clouds blowing out when we max 4-5, not the size, but it could go